right, how's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elsen, and this is Coyote Corner. Well, after playing 5 of its first 6 games on the road, the USD women's basketball team is getting an extended pre-holiday run at the Dakota Dome. Thursday, the Coyotes sought a 3rd straight win as they tipped off a 5-game homestand against Northern Iowa. Coyotes beat the Panthers by 20 in Vermillion last year, and they picked up right where they left off. Taya Heemiller gets it back off the inbound and pops the 3. 1 of 3 on the night for her. USD opened the game on a 15-4 run. Panthers eventually got things going. They'd claw back within 8 on this Stephanie Davison tray. 43-35 Coyotes at the break. They'd add to that advantage in the second. Nicole Seekamp leading the way. She gets the steal and the score to extend the lead to 14. Seekamp finished with 16 points on 8 of 14 shooting. She can dish it as well. 5 assists on the night, including this doozy to Margaret McLeod. She scored 14. Coyotes led by as many as 16 in the second half, but the Panthers wouldn't go away. It's Davison again. UNI pulled within 5 late before the Yotes finally put them away. Heemiller with a career-high 20 points. USD holds on for its 3rd straight win, 85-77.
These games are kind of good, and it shows us that, if we need to, we can get down and gritty and kind of come out with a win like we did last week at Marquette as well, and then we did it again this week. Obviously, it's not our intention to do that, but, it kind of is a good learning experience for us, like Ty said, and, it's only going to make us better for the future.
Yotes try to keep things rolling Saturday afternoon against Cal State Fullerton. Defense played a big role in this one. First half, Rachel Contreras picks the pocket of Amanda Tavinas and coasts in for 2 of her 12 points. USD off and running. More good D here. Lisa Loeffler gets the block, and watch the Coyotes run the floor. 4 players touch the ball. Margaret McLeod gets the finish. She had 13. Yotes kept pouring it on. McLeod pays it forward with a great outlet to Nicole Seekamp. She does the rest. Coyotes open the game on a 21-2 run. Titans called timeout to try and slow things down, but it didn't matter. The shots kept on falling for USD. Case in point, Kelly Stewart. The junior knocks down the triple off a feed from Taya Heemiller, and later, Stewart again. Plus the foul, she'd complete the 4-point play. Stewart scored all 12 of her points in the first half. Coyotes led by 27 at the break, as many as 40 in the second half. They cruised past Fullerton by a count of 86-50 and improved to 6-2 on the season. 5 players finished in double figures for the Coyotes, but the real story was on that defensive end. USD recorded 13 steals and 3 blocked shots while forcing 21 turnovers.
I think we're really well prepared for each game, and if we stick to the game plan, we kind of come out on top, and we just want to come out and be the more aggressive team right away, and I think we really been doing that, so hopefully we can keep it up.
Defense has been a focal point for the Coyotes since the preseason. We'll ask head coach Amy Williams to assess her team's progress next.
Coyote Corner on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionauto.com.
Hello, welcome back to Coyote Corner. Jay Elsen joined now by head coach of the USD women, Amy Williams. And Amy, one of the main goals coming into this season for your team was to defend that Summit League Tournament Championship, and you're off to a pretty good start here. You've won 6 of your first 8 games, including 4 straight.
Well, we're a long ways away from defending that Summit League title. That's kind of a long ways away right now, but I'm certainly pleased with the strides that we've been making at the beginning of the season. We also made a goal to try to be a little more consistent this year and not have quite as many ups and downs, and I think our team has started off pretty well in that category, and we're starting to really play well.
Defense was a huge point of emphasis for you, I know, in the preseason, the offseason. How are you feeling about where things are at right now? I know Saturday, in my eyes, looked pretty good against Fullerton.
Yeah, I think Saturday was one of our best defensive performances of the year, and that's the way you want it, is that we continue to improve. I feel like we're kind of a work in progress. There's still plenty of things that we could kind of clean up and shore up defensively, but I thought as far as just really locking into our game plan and paying attention and focusing on the tendencies of our opponent and what we wanted to get them to do. I thought our team has made some real strides, and we're starting to get better in that category.
That's just after the game on Saturday. Has it been a comprehension thing or an execution thing that you've wanted to see improve the most?
I think more the execution. I think our kids are really starting to kind of comprehend how we do things, how we prepare for opponents, and what we need to do to be successful. And now it's just going out and executing that. And almost every mistake that's made at this point, you could look right at them and they know the mistake before I tell them what's going on. And so that's a good thing. That's just kind of that means they're comprehending, and now it's just a matter of going out and being able to carry it over one step further for the execution.
Well, not a lot going wrong for you on the offensive end right now, where you've shown a lot of balance to this point in the season. That's got to be near the top of the list of strengths for this team.
Well, it is a goal all the time to keep that balance and have lots of weapons to come at you. And if you had watched our game at Marquette, you might feel differently. There were times in that game I thought that there might have been a lid on the basket, but certainly, we've been talking about there are going to be games. We have a lot of players that can contribute offensively, but there are going to be games where the ball's just not going through the basket. So it's those games where we've got to be able to depend on our defense.
Looking ahead, one game on the schedule for you this week, and that comes against Valparaiso on Tuesday night. Another chance to fine-tune some of these things that you've been working on.
We were in a battle at Valparaiso at their place last year, and so, we're excited to have another opportunity to go up against quality opponent in the Dome and in front of all of our fans, and hopefully continue to improve and get better defensively and continue to work on some balance and getting better ourselves. So we're looking forward to it.
All right, well, good luck to you this week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, thanks, Amy. Well, after a successful stint in California, the Coyote men returned home for a date with Youngstown State. We've got those highlights and post-game reactions next.
Coyote Corner on Midco Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
Welcome back. Well, when the USD men topped Wayne State on November 26, they not only snapped a season-opening 5-game skid, but they also gave Craig Smith his first win as head coach. Smith wouldn't have to wait nearly as long for win number 2. Just 4 days later, the Coyotes overcame a 15-point second-half deficit at Cal State Bakersfield. Brandon Boss scored 16 of his game-high 21 points in that second half to help USD rally past the Roadrunners 68-66. Casey Kasperbauer chipped in 18, including 4 3-pointers. Tyler Larson notched his third double-double of the season with 13 points and 10 boards. Kasperbauer was even better on December 2nd as he dropped 7 threes and a career-high 25 points in a 68-65 win at Cal State Northridge. Kasperbauer also grabbed a career-best 7 rebounds for the Coyotes, who won their 3rd straight game. Larson had another solid night as well, finishing with 15 points, 7 boards, and 6 assists. From there, USD headed home. Coyotes looking to avenge last year's lopsided loss to Youngstown State. And after a back-and-forth first half, the hot-shooting visitors start to pull away in the second. Marcus Keene for 3. Penguins built their lead to as many as 15. But no deficit feels too big for the Coyotes. Just ask Trey Norris. On the drive, plus the foul. Free throw cuts Youngstown's lead to 7. Coyotes trying to pick up the pace. On the break, Brandon Boss to Tyler Larson. 2 of his team-high 21. Coyotes trail 70-65. Still hanging tough a couple minutes later, Norris finds Kasperbauer in the corner. He was 4 for 5 from downtown, and it's a one-possession game. But the Penguins always seem to have an answer. DJ Cole misses the free throw, but Sean Amaker there for the putback and 1. Amaker led all scorers with 22, and Youngstown State holds off USD 87-79. Larson just missed out on his 4th double-double in the loss, while Boss and Kasperbauer added 18 apiece. Those 3 combined to make 12 of the Coyotes' season-high 13 3-pointers in this game, but it wasn't enough. USD falls to 3-6 on the season.
So the question at the end of every game is, did we get better today? And I think offensively we definitely got a lot better. Defensively we didn't do a horrible job, but we got to get better on that end, and then cleaning up, finishing possessions on the defensive end with rebounds.
The Coyotes may be a work in progress, but the early returns are positive. Find out how head coach Craig Smith feels about his team's performance when we come back.
Coyote Corner on Midco Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
And welcome back to Coyote Corner. Jay Elsen joined now by the head coach of the USD men's basketball team, Craig Smith. Craig, so much change coming into this season. Obviously the coaching staff, but on the roster as well. And so you had to figure that it was going to take some time to get some things ironed out. And it has, but it also seems here of late like things are starting to click for this team.
Yeah, I think we're starting to figure out the guys and what they can bring to the table and what works for us on both ends of the floor. Transition is always difficult. And when you have 8 new guys in your program, along with the 8 returners, you're trying to gel guys and figure out what lineups are good and not so good and what style works for us and doesn't work so well. And couldn't be happier with the guys. We're 3-6, which isn't ideal, but we're going to keep moving full steam ahead.
Well, one thing that has stood out to me, and probably to a lot of people on the outside anyway, is just how hard this team plays. They never seem to be out of a game, and that mentality is something you can't really coach.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about a Gator mentality, which is just a relentless pursuit of the ball, always competing your tail off. Don't get influenced by outside distractions, whether it's the scoreboard or the fans or poor officiating. All in all, I think our guys have done a great job. We have very good senior leadership, Brandon Boss and Tyler Larson and James Hunter, but in particular those 2 returners. Those guys have been through the battles before. They know what it takes. Every game we've been in, every single game we've had a chance to win. And we just haven't been able to make some plays down the stretch. It seems like when we get down 6-8 to 10 late in the game, we just come with this ferociousness. We are on attack mode in this refuse to lose mentality. And we got to find a way to have that mentality for 40 minutes, the whole game. All in all, I'm really encouraged at the direction we're going.
In terms of how things are playing out on the floor, guard play has been pretty good, but post-production has been a little lacking, and that's something I'm sure you'd like to see improve going forward.
Yeah, our guard play has been good. Tyler's just a stat stuffer every night. He gets triple-double numbers and very efficient, doesn't miss too many shots. Brandon's been excellent, can score in so many ways. And then Casey Kasperbauer's really figured it out, how to play off of those guys. We got to find a way to get our bigs going. Tyler Flack not being in the lineup has really hurt us. James Hunter, we got to get him going in there. Austin Sparks is a freshman and had a really good opening weekend, but is a struggle as of late. And then Trey Burnett, is kind of playing out of position, but he's got to figure it out. That's certainly been an Achilles heel, though, for us as our interior on both ends of the floor.
Finally, the big week for the Coyotes. At Creighton on Tuesday, then you head to Sioux Falls to take on UNLV at the Pentagon. A couple of big programs and a chance to go out and compete and see where you stack up.
Yeah, Jay, it's going to be a great opportunity for our program. What an opportunity to go play at Creighton. It's always sold out. They come off a huge victory against the Husker, unfortunately, but they're a heck of a team. They're very well coached. They're very disciplined. They play to their strengths. Their point guard, Austin Chapman, is phenomenal. And then UNLV, to play a school like those guys in the Pentagon in front of our fans in the state of South Dakota, it's a great time to play a program with the name recognition that they have. What an opportunity for our guys this week.
Well, good luck to you, and certainly excited to see how things continue to unfold, and talking to you all season long.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Craig. Well, flexibility has helped one former Coyote carve out a career in the NBA. We'll share that story next.
Coyote Corner on Midco Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
Before we go tonight, we want to share the interesting story of a former Coyote basketball player. Kent Katich only spent a short time in Vermilion, but it was that brief experience that marked the start of an incredible and unlikely journey to the NBA. MidcoSN's David Brown has more on the man who's making a very flexible living.
Basketball teams are generally divided into 2 separate parts, the stars and the role players. Kent Katich freely admits he fits more into the latter category.
Shooting the basketball was my niche. And I wish I would have developed a couple other niches while I was at it. but yeah, I could shoot.
Growing up in Des Moines, Iowa, Kent's shooting ability gave him the option to play beyond Dowling Catholic High School. Although big-name colleges were out of the question, he enjoyed one particular visit, to Vermillion, South Dakota.
My impression of the Dakota Dome was cool. I mean, the dome was cool. Back in the day, it was a big deal.
Katich joined the Coyotes in the fall of 1981, where he played for legendary coach Jack Doyle. But when Doyle retired in 1982, that began a 30-plus year odyssey to where Katich is today.
We had a coaching change after my freshman year, and that kind of led to a little bit of discontent.
After his second season at USD, Kent not only left the team, but college altogether.
Sometimes you have to make hard choices, and I wasn't having any fun anymore, you know, and it got to the point where if you're not having fun, you got to kind of look for other things.
Katich needed a new role, so he drove to the Land of Stars, Los Angeles, California.
You know, I didn't really have a place to land, so I ended up sleeping on some couches and cars a couple times. And by a strange chance, somebody asked me if I had heard of Giorgio Armani.
And the next thing you know, Katich was on his way to Italy as a runway model for the notorious fashion designer. And while quitting basketball had led Katich to Europe, it was Europe that led Katich back to basketball.
And then while I was over there, I got a call from Barry Glanzer, who I'd played with at South Dakota. And he said, hey, look, we got a team up here in Sweden, and we're gonna do a tour. Would you come play with us?
From basketball to modeling and back to hoops, Katich was starting to have fun again. But then he noticed his former and current teammate doing something odd.
It was at that point that Barry Glanzer was doing headstands. And I said, what are you doing, man? And he's like, I'm doing yoga. And I was like, okay. And of course, he goaded me into trying it, and I couldn't do it. And I went, okay. And he was in the best shape I've ever seen a guy in. So it piqued my interest. And when I'd left Sweden, I decided to see what it was about. And that sort of led me to the next journey.
Katich moved back to Los Angeles and started working on yoga with an old high school teammate still playing in the NBA, Bobby Hansen of the Chicago Bulls. That eventually led to meeting other players, coaches, and agents, where word of his teaching spread.
And I found the benefits for myself, and I couldn't understand why this wasn't happening in all sports. So for the next probably 7-8 years, I just immersed myself in it and practiced, 3 or 4 hours a day, doing it myself, learning as much as I could, educating myself, working with different teachers, traveling, and developing my own practice.
And now this is Katich's court in the heart of West Los Angeles, where movie premieres are right across the street, but the stars are right here.
He does all, different sports, and different body types of different people from all different walks of life. So I figured, it was a chance for me to, just have that extra little edge.
On this morning in early July, Kevin Love is avoiding the NBA trade rumors and focusing on maintaining his status among the league's elite.
But I think for me it was, especially in talking to Kent, just pushing my body to the next level. Coming into the NBA, I was a little bit overweight. My flexibility wasn't the greatest, so I wanted to see how far I could not only push my body, but also my mind as well, and yoga has helped shape me and helped me do that.
Just weeks after this session, Love was traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he's expected to be a key cog alongside LeBron James and Kyrie Irving in helping the Cavs win their first NBA championship.
I think of the responsibility I have to help them maximize what they're trying to do. For them to spend their time to come in here and to trust me, I take that really serious.
It's very personalized, I guess, to who he's working with, and even outside of here, we talk about a lot of things that help expand my game and help me off the court as well.
Word-of-mouth advertising has landed other big names for Katich, including Dirk Nowitzki of the Dallas Mavericks, Andre Iguodala of the Golden State Warriors, and Blake Griffin of the Los Angeles Clippers. Simply put, Katich is known around NBA circles as the yoga guy.
I just think it's that he knows the client. He knows what my body is capable of. He always asks me what workouts I've done throughout the day, so he knows how to push it.
Katich is still the role player he always was, only this time his role isn't to compliment the stars, it's to help them. And through yoga, he's become a star in his own right.
I just did not know that this was possible. And, for me, that's what was it was somewhat of a profound moment about South Dakota, because I wasn't necessarily happy there, but I also realized that what I got from it is why I'm here today.
Now, Katich has been the full-time yoga coach for the Los Angeles Clippers since 2009, and as of now, he's the only one of his kind in the NBA. As for the current Coyotes, both teams in action as we speak. The men on the road at Creighton, while the women are hosting Valparaiso at the Dakota Dome. Craig Smith and company back on the floor Saturday in Sioux Falls against UNLV, a game you can see right here on Midco Sports Network. Coverage tips off at 7 p.m. from the Sanford Pentagon. We'll have a complete recap of that and the rest of the week in USD Hoops next Tuesday night on another episode of Coyote Corner.